Welcome to Chapter 3, and we're glad that you've joined us to find out how these reduced pressure zone backflow preventers actually work. Before we actually have a look at how they work, just a quick installation instruction. So each one of these valves has got to have two isolating valves, one at the beginning upstream and one downstream. This is so that you can have any maintenance done to it by isolating the water on both sides and then remove the valve to do whatever needs to be done. You'll also note that there's a wire strainer, and that is to keep any dirt out. Anything mechanical seals, it has got mechanical seals, we must make sure that there's no dirt that's going to get through there, because that's going to cause it to leak, because it's going to force the valve to stay open. And the same with the RPZ valve. Make sure you keep the dirt out. So when you get it, both non-return valves are in a closed position. This middle section is your reduced pressure zone, which opens up to atmosphere, and you can see at the moment your bottom seat is open, so this section is currently open to atmosphere. As you put water pressure in, the non-return valve prevents it from just flowing through, and it forces it on top of the diaphragm. The pressure on top of the diaphragm is stronger than the spring that's keeping it in the open position, and the pressure pushes it down and makes sure that your discharge port is now closed. Once that happens and the pressure continues building up, it will then flow through to the second unit and pressurize and flow through to the third unit. So what happens now if the municipal line pressure fails? Well, there we have it. The municipal pressure line has failed, and we see that there is now no more pressure on top of the diaphragm to keep it down. And immediately, any water that's in this reduced pressure zone area will discharge to the atmosphere. It's not going to be a lot of water. Depending on the size of the RPZ valve, it could be as little as 100, 150 mils to, on the massive sizes, 200 millimeter up, it could be a liter or two, depending on what's inside there. You can see your downstream flow is now prevented from returning by this second downstream check valve, and no water is actually running through or dripping through the valve. If any dirt should be stuck on the seat and water is allowed to go past that seal, we can see here that it will not flow back to the municipal side, because immediately it gets into this middle section, it's going to discharge in the form of a flow or drip, depending on how bad the leak is. It'll be visible and give you an indication of exactly what is happening. Not very difficult, eh? Straightforward. So let us now go and have a look and see how we can service and maintain these units.